This next chain is St Petersburg chain. It's a really nice chain and a lot of fun to do. I've got two contrasting colours and they're the same size bead. You can vary it later on, but for now it's best to start with two the same size. I've got my thread with a stopper bead and my tail, and I've picked up 6 beads in my main colour. I bring them down to the stopper bead, and then what I'm going to do, and again I'll work on the mat, is I'm going to miss these first 2 beads here, and I'm going to come around and go through the 2 next beads. When I pull up my thread, what will happen is, as you can see here, see these 2 little beads? They will sit side by side, and then I can just push them down so that they're sitting nicely side by side. So I've got this little shape here. I'm going to pick up a contrast bead, and I'm going to go straight back down these 3 beads. So 1, 2, and 3, not the bottom one. And then when I pull that up, you can see now that I've come out my 3 beads and that little bead is sitting on the end of the stack. Now I pick up another contrast bead, and it's good to have quite a good contrast, and you could always, later on use a crystal for this bead or a bigger size even. Now I'm going to come across here and I'm going to go up the bottom and through those 2 side beads. So I'll just pull that through so you can see. So now you can see, hang on, it just got caught. There we go. So now you can see I've got my 2 beads in place. Now this will be the start of my next row. So as I've already got 2 beads added, I need to add another 4. Bring those down. And again, from these 6 bead, I miss the bottom 2 and I go through the next 2. So you see that? So I've missed these 2, I'm going through the middle 2, and when I bring my needle up again, what will happen is these 2 will pop around to the side just like before, and then I can push them down and get them sitting up. Tension is quite important in this. You want to make sure that you take your time to get your tension. So now I've got the same configuration again. So just like before, on with a contrast bead, down, straight back down the stack through 3 beads, not 4. So down through 3, pull it up. Oops, where's it gone? Pull it up, and now it's across here and up through these 2 with another contrast bead. Up here, and you see as you go through these 2 side ones, it straightens them up as well. Up through here with the contrast bead. And you can see now I'm ready to begin my 3rd row. So I'll just take you through it quickly one more time. So we've got our first 2. We pick up 4 beads, slide them down, go back through, not the 2 bottom ones, but the next 2, 1, 2, pull them up. They sit side by side, pull them down to get your tension nice, take your time to get your tension. Pick up your contrast bead, come straight back down 3 of those beads. 1, 2, 3. Pull it up. add on your next contrast bead and come across and up through the 2 side beads. There we go. So there you go. That's your St Petersburg chain. When you've completed your length of single St Petersburg chain and you want to add on a clasp, obviously you'll probably finish and you'll have 2 beads here. It's very simple. Just put on, because if you see in most of them there's a contrast bead, 4 main beads and a contrast bead. So we've already got a contrast bead and 2 main beads. So if I just thread on simply 2 more contrast beads and a main bead, that actually completes my chain. Then from here you can add whatever clasp you want. So for example, if I wanted to, I could just add 3 beads, the end of a clasp, or it might be a button or whatever you like, and then another 3 beads, and then I simply just go back down through these beads here at the end, so I can pull it up so that I have my clasp attached, and then it's simply a matter of just weaving down through here and making some knots to finish off. At the other end, when we come to this end, you've got your stopper bead. You simply change that. So see, we've got here a contrast and we've already got our 4. You just simply take that off and change it for a contrast bead, and then carry on the same way with the other side of your clasp. We're going to do a double St Petersburg chain. Hopefully you've already had a go at making the single and you know how to do that. It makes a lovely bracelet just on its own, or a fabulous necklace strap. And of course you can change all the sizes of the beads to make it bigger. But if you want something a little bit more substantial or fancy, we're going to do a double. So we're going to give it another side. Now I've got my thread and I've attached it to the exact same stopper bead that we had at the beginning of the single. And I'm going to bring on, just like we did with the single, I'm going to bring down my 6 beads. And I'm going to leave these first 2 and then travel through, back through the second 2. Just like we did before. And then when I pull it up, those 2 little beads at the side will just pop in place. There they are. Pull them up and get a nice tension. So now we're ready to go. Now don't worry that they're on this side. It's not a problem at this stage. We'll pick up our end bead, and just like we did before, we will go through 3 of the main beads. So just straight back down through those main beads towards the center and pull that up too. And we'll pull that up. Good. Make sure we've got a nice tension. And remember, we didn't go through that last one. Now this time, whereas in the single we added a bead and went through here, what we're going to do is actually go through this bead and flip these 2 over and then go through these 2. So I'll just do that now. So up through this one. This will flip over, and then I find it easiest to come up this way. So if you hold it away from yourself and come up, then that's taking me through those 2 side beads, so that when I pull up my thread, and you'll see in a second, just pop that out the way. When I pull it up, now it's all in position. I've got my side bead here, now my little central bead, my pivotal bead, and then I've got the 2 beads here ready to start again. So I'll just take you through it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we thread on our 4 beads, just like we did in the single. And I'll pick it up now so you can see. And see, I hold the tension with my finger here. I'm going to miss the first 2 beads and go through the next 2 beads. Pull that up. And as you can see, the other 2 pop into place there. And if I just pull up my tension and make sure I've got a good tension, and even from the bottom you can pull up your tension. There we go. Now on with the contrast, back down through 3 beads. 1, 2, 3. Pull it up nice and firmly. Then we're going to go through this central bead, which is our connecting bead, and then through these 2 here. And as I said, what I usually do is turn the work around and just come towards me. It's much easier to get at it that way, and then you can pull it up. And so then we've got our second one already in place. So it's not difficult, it's just more of the same until you get all the way to the other end, and it gives you a really lovely double finished piece. Now I've come to the end of my double St Petersburg, and this thread here I've already woven back in and finished it off. So I've taken it back down and around, made some knots and trimmed it off, and I'm left with 1 thread here. And what I'm going to do is I'll just show you the best way to finish it off with a clasp. I thread on 3 beads on this side and then 2 more. This is going to give me my platform to attach whatever clasp I prefer. So in this case, just for ease, I've just threaded on a toggle. Then I come around the clasp, back through these 2 central beads, and then I'm going to thread on 3 more beads, and then I'll come back down through here and weave down in through the bracelet. So once it all pulls up, you will have a nice finished clasp which sits nicely in there. Once I get the tension up right, there we go. And then if I just weave that in and finish that off, that will finish off my clasp very nicely.